One, two, three, four.
Back, everyone, to another episode of Breakfast with Brothers.
Classic duo back at it again with the white vans, or black vans, or blue vans. I don't actually own any pairs of vans, but here we are yet again. And today, on our 60th episode, rocking and rolling with a guest. Hailing from the great Geneva, New York, we're welcoming our young lad, one of my best buddies, Marquise Russ.
Hello, everyone. How's it going today? I'm excited to be on this podcast. Yep, my name is Marquise. I've been longtime friends with Zach since our early college days, since freshman year. So we're approaching like 8 years now. And
Yeah, dude.
I met Zach. I met Ian through Zach. Who's obviously Zach's brother, and excited to talk about some fun topics today that I'm sure everyone will like and be interested in.
Hell yeah. Dude, give us your
Yes, sir.
favorite Dum Dum lollipop flavor.
Man, I haven't had one in a while, but I would say I was always a sucker for like cherry flavored.
Oh, come on. I thought you were for sure going to say like root beer or something. Cream soda is
Oh,
by far my
heck no.
favorite, but I mean,
Nah. Cherry, I feel like cherry's like the sweetest one. I don't know. I've always been a sucker for like cherry and like, Jolly Rancher cherry or, blue raspberry, hard candy flavors. Amazing. Even though blue raspberry's not a real thing.
not well said. That's totally true. But before we escape too far into the artificial fucking candy vibes, Ian, put us onto the lovely topic that we're going to rock and roll with today, my boy.
So today we're going to be rocking with, probably like our top favorite like movies. We might leak our way into some maybe top favorite artists. And we'll see where kind of the podcast takes us today. So we're just going to discuss those things. And I mean, honestly, Marquise, you want to start us off with your like top 10 movie or top 5, top 3?
Yeah, I could just
Probably
freestyle. I
top
don't have a
3,
top 10
yeah.
list, but if I'm on death row and I can only watch a few movies left in my life,
Okay.
shout out to Interstellar. Just got re-released back in the movie theater in IMAX.
Hell yeah.
When I watched that movie, I almost changed my life. Cried to that movie. The science behind it is amazing. Just the visuals and everything, just top notch. And Christopher Nolan is one of the best directors ever.
Amen. Who's alongside Matthew McConaughey in that? It's that younger chick, right?
What's her name? Was it Anne Hathaway? Anne Hathaway is her name.
Yes, yeah. Word.
Yep,
Okay.
yep.
It was escaping me. I was like, I know who she is, but I can't remember what her name is.
Yeah, from Princess Diaries. That's
Yep.
the first time I think that's when Anne Hathaway like blew up. But yeah, she's been in the game for a while and yeah, great actress, even though she's not perceived well in real life because she had some bad interviews in the past and people say, she's kind of rude. But I'll give the benefit out, she just had a bad day that day. But let's see, another movie. I'm a big Quentin Tarantino guy, so Django is definitely one of my favorites.
Yeah, Django Unchained.
Yes, it is. It's everything
movie.
in what. Yeah, it's like everything in one movie. Action, funny as heck, emotional as hell.
Yeah.
The pacing of it, like I love the Quentin Tarantino like kind of pace where it's like all out there, like kind of fast and just so obscene, like most of his movies, and it's a perfect film.
Yeah,
What
plus his
else?
cinematography is like really well done. Kind of reminds me of like what Michael Bay does with Star Wars,
Yeah.
like the action scenes and everything.
Yeah. Oh yeah, phenomenal. If I had to rank like grade that movie, it's like a 10. I feel like in my meter. I'm trying to think what other movies that really stand out to me. Let's see. I'm obviously, if you see my background, I'm kind of a nerd. This is my little nerd out room. So, I would, give a big shout out to like, the good Marvel movies. I would say like one Marvel movie in particular, but I like so many of them. But there are a lot of misses. But I'd say like Avengers: Infinity War, Endgame, Tobey Maguire Spider-Man 2. Uh,
Yes, sir.
yeah, that one's amazing. I mean, if it's DC as well, like any like Christopher Nolan Batman movies, so like Dark Knight, Batman Begins, even also the most underrated Batman movie ever. If anyone remembers the 1993 Batman Returns with Penguin, Danny DeVito, and
The most underrated.
yeah, Batman Returns and the Catwoman as well, the iconic movie. Love it. Uh, but besides that, I'm trying to think of some more. I'll try to give a list of like was that 3 movies I named so far technically, like
Well,
Marvel's.
the Avengers series you kind of named like 11. But if I was going to ask if you had to pinpoint in and
Oh,
around, like obviously the Avengers storyline is different than like where you went with Batman, like that's DC. And then like Spider-Man, yes, like
okay.
he eventually became an Avenger, but Spider-Man 2 specifically wasn't a part of like that Avenger series storyline.
Yeah, like anything Marvel and DC, like I love. But if I had to like give like a god tier of like 5 movies, Avengers: Infinity War. I'm gonna
Mm,
group Avengers: Infinity War and Endgame in one because I mean that it's
that's
just a
fair.
continuation story. Yeah, Spider-Man 2 came out like 2004 with Tobey Maguire. I'd say The Dark Knight. Wait, are we just doing Marvel or are we doing DC and Marvel?
Yeah, stick around in Marvel. I guess I was
Okay.
more wondering where your Avengers
Yeah,
storyline
yeah,
came
yeah.
through.
So do you want me to? Can I do like the earlier Marvel stuff too then, or do you want just to stick with just MCU entirely?
I guess Marvel in general is chill.
Okay.
If you have, because it's obviously I know your what your room looks like and kind of how you like memorabiliaized. I guess we'll make up a word for that. Like
Yeah, yeah,
the
right.
certain sectors of like your DC and your Marvel, and of course your Giants section of the wall over there, completely absent to like the movie realm and whatnot.
Yeah.
But no, but yeah, if you wanted to do 5 of like your big time Marvel vibes, then
Okay.
that would be
Well, yeah.
money.
So what I was saying, Spider-Man 2, then, yep, Avengers: Infinity War and Endgame are in one.
Yep.
Uh, man, I would say one that's severely underrated that I think is amazing is X-Men: Days of Future Past. I think
Whoa.
that movie is amazing. Um, Logan, if you guys seen Logan with just the Wolverine movie,
Hugh
amazing.
Jackman, go.
Yep. You know, we call him Huge Jackman, bro. It's Huge
Yes,
Yes,
Jackman.
sir.
sir.
But yeah, I just like that Western vibe. I thought that was pretty sick. And let's think. One more. Oh my gosh, there's so many. Hmm. One more. I'm not trying to leave any out, but I'm gonna leave so many out. No,
You
we'll
already
do
came up with so many
Thor
good ones.
Ragnarok.
Hmm.
We'll do Thor Ragnarok. I mean, that one is a perfect mix of just you know I would say like it was emotional, but it was funny as heck, and it was a very good balance. And yeah, I just think that one was very well done. What are some movies that you guys really like? Tell me.
Ian, if you want to rock, I don't know if you've been thinking here, but I mean, I have a couple too that they obviously
Go,
exist outside of the Marvel realm and whatnot. But
go ahead, Zach. If you got a couple, I got about like 2, so I'm trying to think of one more.
Wait, I actually just thought of one that I forgot.
what
Uh,
was it?
if you guys know There Will Be Blood, it came out in like back in 2007. I'm trying to remember the name of the actor in it, but if you guys haven't watched it, it's like one of the best movies ever. It's a movie. I think it's based in like the early 1900s maybe, and I think it was based in like 1907 or something. And it's about this guy who's like mining oil, and then one day struck oil, became rich, but it came with a lot of cost. And I just think if you guys watch that movie, it's like one of the most emotional and one of the best acted movies ever. So I recommend that one.
So is it like a super drama, or like how
Yeah,
would you
yeah,
describe it?
it's just a drama. It is. Uh, I mean, you guys might have seen clips from it, like if you guys see like the one famous clip from the movie, like the guy's like, "I abandoned my child, I abandoned my boy." If you guys ever seen that clip at all, like
Maybe.
everywhere on the internet, but it is amazing. The guy who played the Riddler in the 2021 Batman, I forget the actor's name, great actor, he's in it too. But definitely give that a watch.
All right.
All right. Yeah.
What was that? There Will Be Blood? Is that
Yeah,
what it was
yeah,
called?
There Will Be Blood. It's amazing. I mean, if you like a very serious, well acted movie, amazing.
All right.
Yeah, I was gonna say I usually gravitate towards like I know with when you made the point about some of the Marvel movies like not only being well kept as far as like emotional, but then having that same balance of like humor and stuff like that. Like
Yeah,
that usually is a good tell of like a movie is well put together. Not of course, not only does the director obviously, have a big part in putting it that way, but the actors matter a lot too. And I know with how Marvel is paced out, they've come a long way with being able to find like the perfect people that fill those roles for those superheroes. Um
yeah.
in thinking about that same light, one of my big movies. I won't give away my favorite movie of all time yet. I'll end with that. Um, but one of my favorite go tos, that I've watched a good handful of times now, and like put other people onto was and you guys have both seen it, Inception, with
Oh
Leonardo
yeah,
DiCaprio. That one, I mean, I only ever really liked it as like a top movie of mine because of like how much you had to pay attention and kind of comprehend what the hell was going on. Because I know the
yeah.
first time I watched it, I was beyond lost. I was like, I'm not even really sure what the hell happened.
I
And it
got the
wasn't
same
until
feeling.
that second time. What'd you say?
I got the same feeling the first time I ever watched a movie. I'm like, this movie's, I gotta really be on my. I think the first time I ever watched it, I think I was drinking a little bit in my. So like, my tolerance and my concentration, my attention span was just absolutely non-existent. And I'm just like, man, this movie's not that good. So I had to, watch it when I was sober, just like, center in,
Yeah, zone
zone in.
in. Yeah,
Focus.
Yeah.
Focus.
focus. I mean, for real though. I mean, he's obviously a fantastic actor otherwise, but in that movie, it was. I'm trying to remember the other guys that was in it. That a couple of them were, other big names, and it was just like, I don't know how they put this one together, but that was incredible. Another movie with really, really well done cinematography, and then CGI taking a huge part in being able to manipulate how the movie went on, and just the idea of, obviously not give away what exactly happened or anything, but just literally the inception of time in this case and existing within an existence, and then just that whole ploy around the entire movie. But definitely a top. I'll put it in my top 5, but I had it as part of my top 3, so even more rare in that regard.
Mhm.
Uh, but then, I totally lost my other movie. I think I was caught between um, the Joker, like the live action
Mhm.
with Joaquin Phoenix, and there was another one there was one that I was watching with Meg in theaters, and it was another one of those thinky thoughts movie where it was like you really had to pay attention, and if you like caught the whole storyline and like saw it through to the end, it was just like, oh my, oh my god, oh my god.
Yeah.
Um, but I was kind of like flashbacking to Will Smith's Pursuit of Happiness. That
Yeah, that's
was
a great one.
really well done movie. That was something where it was like coming from nothing, trying to build yourself into something, and then just facing constant rejection and failure, and people continually putting you down. And in that movie specifically, Will Smith having to battle through racial tension and everything was obviously huge in the fact that he was a black American, trying to basically battle well everyone in his fight to sell these computers and stuff like that. And it was cool thinking back to how young his son Jaden was in that movie, and he was his actual son in the movie. But I can't remember how old he was in the movie. They portrayed him maybe like 5 or 6, but young enough to the point where it was like, oh my god, baby Jaden.
Mhm.
But also really well done. Always an incredible actor, and then even there too, another one of those things where not too many funny moments in that movie, but a lot of emotion like spread across like the entire thing. But again, another top 3 movie that sided with Joker, but only landed on that one just because it's one of those telltale stories where it's kind of like I'm pretty sure the last time I watched it, I 100% cried. So it was like I'm probably gonna cry every time I watch it, if I'm being honest.
Or I'll be there to hold your hand next time you cry, bro. So you feel.
That's so nice. But
That was so
to
sweet.
hold you, yeah, go ahead, Ian. Go ahead.
Is it my turn?
Yeah,
Oh
yeah.
no, I thought you were saying something.
No, we were good. But
I wanted to
I'll start it
finish
up.
with my top of all time movie.
Finish then, please. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's
finish.
go ahead.
Drum roll. Okay, sorry.
No.
No, it's the Sandlot, classic all-American favorite. Sorry, super basic, but that's me, the Sandlot.
Wow, lame.
Yeah, that's. I can't lie.
No, I'm
I don't
joking.
want to say cliche, but I kind of want to say cliche. But I mean, it's a great.
Okay,
It's like probably the most American film you can possibly name. Like if you,
150%. Yeah.
like if someone like put a gun to my head and said, "Name the most American film of all time," I think like Sandlot's pop my head instantly.
Yeah, but The Sandlot is a good movie,
Yeah,
though.
it is.
Like,
Feels sense
can't
of
hate on it for
naturalism.
what it is.
I was gonna say, not only does it, bring me back to my days of playing baseball and stuff like that with my buddies, but also like all the young actors in that film, seeing what they, have grown into today and like a completely change up as far as where they're at in their careers, what they look like, etc. But that movie alone, just one of those, like you said, the feeling of like nationalism, that patriotism, and then also like that feel good hit home story of
Doing
the
dumb
whole
stuff
team.
with your friends.
Yeah,
That's
absolutely.
pretty much what it is.
Yeah, yep. And like, those days that like we can reminisce in different lights too, thinking back what we used to do when we were kids, when we had all that time freedom and being able to do what we wanted to without so many responsibilities hanging over our head. And like I said, feel good story. I still laugh to this day when whatchamacallit, Squints, hits on the lifeguard, and that
Wendy
whole
Peppercorn,
storyline.
dude.
Oh my God, he's a dead fish. Yeah, he's a dead fish.
He looks like a dead fish.
Wendy Peppercorn. What a baddie.
Yep. Squints Palladors.
But there I was. No, seriously, that was my list though. So, Ian, if you wanted to please take it away, I would love
Yeah,
to hear
absolutely. I want to hear what you say, Ian.
All right. First one off the bat, The Shawshank Redemption.
And
Mark, you said you couldn't say that one.
yeah, I said because everyone says it. I'm just like, I know, like everyone, like you ask everyone the best movie of all time. Shawshank Redemption's amazing, but
Incredible.
for for the sake of people already talking about it a million times in their lives, give me another one, Ian.
I
But
do
that
want to
great
hear
twist.
your
I love
reason
that
as to
movie.
why though. That's for sure.
I mean, like, no, I get it. You just don't, it's fine. It's not like everyone can enjoy a movie, Marquise. Jeez.
no, I'm messing. You can talk about it. I love that movie. That's one of my favorite
Yeah, I do
movies.
want to hear why it's like one of your go-tos for sure.
I don't know. I guess it was always just kind of something, whenever it was on, I could watch it from any point in the movie. Like, I would catch it on TV, and I could watch it from any point in the movie and still be hooked on it. It could be towards the end, and I'll finish it. It could be right at the beginning, I'll finish it. Could be in the middle, I'll finish it. Every single time I can get through the movie, wherever it starts, and end it at the same time.
I feel like your favorite scene in the movie is when the guy just gets assaulted, but
That's fucked up.
Close second.
That's fucked up, Marquise.
I'm messing. It's a movie. Oh gosh, but no, yeah, I agree. I mean, it's from top to bottom, and plus you have Morgan Freeman narrating the movie, which makes just the movie sound like butter, like all throughout. We're just like, yeah,
Yep.
It's a great time.
Yep. I mean, that isn't my favorite, but it's one of my solid choices.
Yeah.
Next one up would probably have to be mid-90s.
Oh wow.
Yep. I think that came out 2018. I remember watching it in college with my buddies.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, I think he's like, I want to say he's like 13 or 14 years old in the movie, or portraying a 13, 14-year-old kid who's like, what was it? It was like dealing with trouble at home. Found like these friends that were skating and just wanted to like get out of the house and do stuff, and then ended up like following the wrong crowd and like getting caught up as like a young kid into something that you shouldn't be caught up in. Really good movie, good actors in it as well, and like the feeling that it gave was kind of just like, wow, that feels kind of like, I don't know, that hits home in some parts of it,
Yeah.
But really, really solid movie. I suggest people watch it. It's just, I don't know. It's a good movie. I recommend it to anyone who's looking for a solid choice of a movie.
I was gonna say that's two I gotta watch now because I haven't actually seen that. I just looked up the quick summation of it on Google when you said it because I haven't seen Marquise's movie from what'd you say it was There Will Be Blood or something
Yeah,
like
yeah,
that?
that one. Yeah, it's a longer movie. It's like 3 hours.
Mid-90s and There Will Be Blood. Word.
Yep. So, I mean, like, if anyone's looking for a good movie, great watch. Really sad, actually, towards, like, certain portions of the movie.
Oh, good. I'm gonna cry again.
It's more like this is real life type of movie.
Yeah.
Not like something completely out of this world type deal. It's like, wow, that hits home.
Yeah.
So, not going to say anything more. Don't want to spoil anything with the movie. Great choice. But then I have my final and favorite movie, and I could watch it over and over and over again.
Drum roll.
And I'm sure it might be a little cliche, but it's Scott Pilgrim versus the World.
Oh wow.
No way.
That's interesting.
With Michael
I
Cera.
mean, it's not cliche for a favorite movie ever. I mean, I haven't seen a movie in years, but I mean, it's a great and extremely unique movie. I gotta say.
Yeah. I mean, something about it, I don't know. It's just always kind of like clicked with me whenever like the first time I saw it, I was like, wow, this is a great movie. This is stupid, funny, and like I love it.
Yeah.
Really good really good music in it. Enjoyed the bomb-ombs. So, yeah, I don't know if anyone hasn't seen it. It came out in like
2008-ish, I want to say.
Yeah, 2008, 2010, somewhere around that point.
2000s,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. Obviously, you got Michael Cera. For those who know of the movie, he's the lead star, Scott Pilgrim.
Beast.
And you got some other like big names in there. You got Chris Evans when he was like not as big in the acting world just yet, kind of making his way through it.
Yeah.
And a bunch of other names. Like, watch the movie, you'll see everyone in it. It's kind of crazy casting. But it's kind of just about this kid who essentially like falls in love with a girl while he's in another relationship. Has to fight like evil exes and like go through like these weird challenges just to be able to date this girl. It's kind of funny. It's hilarious. But great movie overall. I recommend anyone who hasn't seen it.
Yeah.
Kind of like a cult classic for like a certain niche of group.
Yeah. Great outside the box choice, gotta say. Yeah.
Did he
it
redeem
definitely
himself
is like,
from
one of
labeling
those-
Shawshank Redemption as one of his movies?
What'd he say?
He said, did he redeem himself from labeling Shawshank?
Yeah,
the
he said
Redemption
cliche. I mean, but Scott Pilgrim versus the World, I don't think is the cliche like for a favorite movie list. I would say. But
No, I wouldn't label it as cliche either. But then again, I'm sure there's a good amount of people who was like, oh, that's not like one of those like super involved movies. But I feel like since everyone's movies taste is going to be different, no one is going to be able to be like, oh yeah, like those choices were bad because they're not, they don't have any depth or anything. Like, who gives a damn? Like, a movie doesn't have to have depth to be like well done. I've like seen a
absolutely.
lot of movies like that where it's like it's only as deep as you like see it, and to other people like it sends a different message too. And I'm sure Scott Pilgrim versus the World was huge for some preteen who was having a hard time finding a girlfriend. And he's like, wow, Michael Cera's my hero. I mean, I don't know.
Michael Cera's sick, dude.
Yeah. Do you guys have like one of them, like, what's your favorite movie that's like one of the most underrated movies ever that doesn't get enough, like, people don't talk about it enough?
Most underrated movie.
You're like, damn, I love this film. I don't know why more people don't know about it.
That's a great question.
I don't know.
I don't know. I feel like I haven't watched enough movies that were underrated to be like, oh yeah, that movie.
I have one. I actually, as you guys were talking, I was just thinking of great movies I loved throughout my life that are just coming to mind.
Yeah.
And one, I would say, if you guys ever seen About Time with Rachel McAdams, Margot Robbie's in it, and it's like a very extremely emotional, like wholesome movie, and it's about a guy who has like the power, like he goes like into a dark place, like for example a closet, closes his eyes, then can travel like back to any place in time in his life, and that will consequently change the course of his life and yada yada. And like it's very emotional. His father's like the one who showed him to do it, and like it showed him like him finding the love of his life that way. And definitely, I think it's one of the most underrated movies ever. Definitely give it a watch if you haven't. It's very very well done. I think it's rated pretty dang high too. Um, I'll just go off on a tangent right now. Another one, I don't think it's rated that well, but I don't know. Have you guys ever seen The Adjustment Bureau? Uh,
No, I
hold
don't
on,
think
hold
so.
on, hold on one second. I'm just looking. I'm kind of blinking right
Did
now.
you say the Adjustment Bureau?
Yeah, hold on. Yeah, it's with oh my gosh, what's his name? Oh, Matt Damon's in it,
Clap.
and like it's about like how can I say it? Like he wasn't supposed to see something. Like he was seeing like someone's mind getting wiped. That was a
Mm,
high-powered
mm.
politician, and like the adjusters like were coming after him the entire movie, and like he met this girl, and like after like he's seen something he wasn't supposed to see, he's like, oh yeah, and that girl you met today, you're never gonna see her again, and like he really liked her, so he rode on like the same bus every day for 5 years until he met her, and then the Adjustment Bureau found out about it, and were just coming after his ass and the girl's ass like the entire film trying to stop them from like falling in love because it wasn't part of the big plan because the big plan was for him to be a high politician in power.
Hmm.
That one's pretty
Interesting.
cool. Yeah, that one's pretty
You love
cool.
Matt Damon.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely recommend that one. I don't think it's rated as well, but it's personally I like that movie a lot. Um,
Is that because it's underrated because not enough people have given it its props? Is that what you're saying?
yeah, yeah, I think it's very good. Um, let's see.
He is
Besides
the movie
that,
pro.
yeah, those are my few underrated films. Have you guys thought of anything?
Yeah, I got one. High School Musical. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, let's go. I love High School Musical.
Honestly,
Honestly, I
probably
mean,
overrated. But Ian, what do you got?
they're not necessarily underrated, but I just thought of some other like great movies, and like sure maybe my nerd is showing a little bit in it, but I love the Lord of the Rings
Oh,
movies,
yep, yep,
specifically like the Two Towers and Return of the King.
yep.
Simply because I think what was it? I think it was the Two Towers. You had the Riders of Rohan in the Battle of Helm's Deep. Probably one of the coolest battle sequence in any movie
Mm-hmm.
ever. It's just such a like I don't even know, like they get me hyped up when they're like yelling at each other getting ready for battle.
Yeah,
It's a cool scene, and like if you haven't
And the
seen the
music.
scene, yeah, the music sets everything. It's
yeah,
such like I don't know. Like if you haven't watched it, just go look up the scene, the Riders of Rohan, and you'll come across it. It's clear as day, an amazing scene altogether. Great acting throughout all of the movies, and
yeah.
in my opinion,
I mean, it's probably like arguably the greatest trilogy ever. I mean,
yeah,
it's literally just flawless. I mean, it's Lord of the Rings. I mean, every movie is just fantastic. Yeah. If you haven't seen Lord of the Rings, you're definitely missing out because wow, there was such
yeah.
an
I
Yeah,
ancient
mean,
I was
world.
gonna say I know there's a lot of people that have been on the one end of yeah, I've seen Lord of the Rings and then some, with like the way the Hobbit took off there and everything. And then those same people will have told you that they haven't seen like all the Harry Potter movies or whatever. Like I'm part of the group that's seen both and I love both like
Yeah, me too.
a lot. And I've watched both series, more than a handful of times. But, I don't think I could ever land on one or the other, because they're both really well done storyline wise. Of course, Harry Potter took like a bit longer of a time to like go through the storyline and kind of lead up into something. But at least with Lord of the Rings, you kind of got a glimpse of what that looked like as far as taking the ring and destroying it over the course of the entire journey. So with Harry Potter, there wasn't obviously the same storyline by any means. Of course, a completely different realm of what is that, fantasy and science fiction, I guess it exists in. Um, but I don't know if I could ever just be like, oh yeah, Harry Potter's way better than Lord of the Rings. Like I don't think I could ever just tell them that they coexist and then rank them. Like, there's not a chance in hell. I think they both deserve the podium in their own right. So
Yeah, they're both flawless, I think, in my opinion. Yeah, can't go wrong with either or.
No, not at all. I mean, like, I wasn't a huge fan of those Hobbit movies personally.
Yeah,
Just
me
as a little
neither.
side note, did not follow the book whatsoever. Added on things that weren't even in the story. I just wasn't very impressed with the movies altogether, and I think there was they made 2 of them or 3 of them.
I think.
pretty sure there's 4.
I don't remember. I thought it was
2 parts, right?
Yeah, I don't remember honestly because I was kind of checked out when they did those.
I saw the first one. The first one wasn't bad, but then I never kept up with watching the rest after that.
Yeah.
No, there was 3. There's The
there was-
Hobbit,
I thought it
An
was
4
Unexpected
and 1 was in
Journey.
2 parts, though.
They had The Unexpected Journey, The Desolation of Smaug,
Yeah.
and then The Battle of the Five Armies. I was not impressed with Unexpected Journey and The Desolation of Smaug, so I didn't even watch the final one. But was not impressed at all with them. Did not follow the actual story, or the book, I should say. So, just a little side note, did not like them.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, too. I feel like oftentimes there will be... I didn't even read either the Harry Potter series or the Lord of the Rings series by book, and eventually I will, I'm sure.
Can you
a
read,
lot of
though?
people that have read previous to them coming out, or in post, were just, saying this, that, and the other about how much was missed as far as details and how things were interpreted based on character preferences, and then also how people interacted as far as like how they carried themselves as a character. So, I mean, I can't really say much because I didn't get to read the books, but for those that did, there's obviously still the people that exist out there that are always going to be like, oh yeah, the books by far better than the movies. Again, like I could never stand with them because I would never know.
I mean, honestly, people say the books over the movies because they just visualize what they want to see in their heads, and they have pretty much a preset visualization, walking into a movie, and
Yeah,
what
do
they
you think that's what it is always? That they're just hoping it happens and then
the way they when people read, they just see a lot of things in their heads, and when they watch the movies, they're like, oh, that's not the way I've seen it. The book is way better. So when people say that, I'm just like, oh, the book
I
is way
disagree
better.
with that.
Oh,
I disagree with
You
that.
disagree? You disagree?
Yeah, because in most cases when they're remaking a book into a movie, they're taking out good portions of the story. It's not even like an imagination standpoint. It's a story standpoint.
I mean, it depends on the movie, though. I mean, I agree with that point, but I mean, it depends on the movie. Some of them are very well done, where they do incorporate the entire book. But yeah, if they're taking out huge chunks, I agree with that. But there's a lot of times where vice versa.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like in some cases, yeah, like they have to cut out a portion of the story to make it fit into whatever time frame they have. Completely understandable at that point. Shorten up sections that don't need as much time. Fine, figure it out. It's just how it goes. That's to be expected. But don't take out chunks of the story and replace it with something completely different.
Yeah.
Just because that's what viewers want to see, or that's what you think viewers want to see.
Mm-hmm.
I think that is the issue. As for an imagination standpoint, sure, you might imagine someone looking different in your own mind in comparison to what the director's seemingly looking at or thinking about when going through the story. But there's also clear descriptions in the story, and they find an actor who looks completely opposite of what the description actually says.
Well,
so
do you think it's
that make
oftentimes
sense.
that they're taking out those stories that they can input because they are trying to save time with movie production, or do you think they're trying to interject their own creation?
I think they're trying to interject their own creation when it comes to this, because in some points it's like they're trying to make it so that everyone wants to watch the movie, not just the people that are interested in that movie when rewriting a book into a movie.
It's a good point.
But it's not all the time. I wouldn't say that's like an every time this happens, that's what they're thinking. They want to make it their own. Some people actually want to follow the book or follow whatever was written before, and try to keep it as close to the story as possible.
Sure.
Because, like I said before, there's going to be slight altercations to the actual storyline
Yeah.
where you might have to shorten things, you might have to change things a little bit just because of the people or the actors you get, just to make it seem like it's them rather than, or I should say it's them depicting the characters.
Yeah.
Even though they might, be a little bit different than what's described in the book. I get all of that. That makes sense.
Yeah, good point, Ian. I respect it. Another topic, since we're in the holiday season, boys,
Hell yeah.
what's your favorite holiday movie? I want to hear it.
Oh God.
Or
I don't
some
like
of your
holiday
favorite holiday
movies,
movies.
but-
It doesn't have to be your favorite, but like, what are some that like you watch typically this time of the year, like annually?
Die Hard.
Yeah, dude. Die Hard's a Christmas movie.
Yeah.
I mean, I do mess with Bruce Willis. Yeah, obviously, I know it's more action packed and everything, and it just so happens that it's happening, on Christmas and stuff like that.
That's pretty
but
funny thinking about it.
He is an incredible action actor, and I feel like that's probably the only genre he could realistically exist in. Now, I'm not about to go on a Bruce Willis tangent or anything, but as far as action goes, like that's a big time Christmas vibe for sure.
Okay.
I'd say I got mine. I'd say A Charlie Brown Christmas.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, it's great.
I was gonna say I think everyone's probably seen A Charlie Brown's Christmas. It's pretty much the one that's always played.
Oh, sure.
Like everyone knows about it. If you don't know about the Peanuts, then I don't know. Maybe you're too young.
Yeah, they have one of the best Christmas songs of all time. Christmas Time Is Here. That song is so creepy.
The song gets stuck in my head three times a week, dude. It's ridiculous.
No, that song isn't creepy. That's a great song. It's kids singing, dude. It's not that creepy.
Come on. You're telling me it doesn't sound like I love this song, but you're telling me it doesn't sound a little bit creepy? Like imagine
I think
you
that's the creepy part that Marquise feels creeped out about because it's, with the super high pitched kid.
Yeah, like
I think if I'm sitting in like a dark room with no lights on whatsoever and only that song's
like,
playing,
just
sure.
like a candle, then you just see like eyes just looking at you from the corner of the room.
Yeah, like opening up, like
Yeah. It's just so happens Christmas time is played.
If there was no piano,
yeah, sure.
then I think that song would be extra creepy and it would be perfect for any horror movie. But the piano kind of brings it more into a lully jazz vibe instead. So
if Vince Guaraldi wasn't behind the keys, like soothing my brain cells, then it would definitely be creepy.
Yeah, agree. I don't know. For my favorite Christmas movie, I don't want to be cliche. I don't want to be cliche. Let's see.
Who cares about being cliche? It's what you like.
Okay.
We'll call you cliche if we're gonna do it. No pressure.
Yeah, because you called me out on Shawshank Redemption, just so you know.
Okay, you know what? One I think is like I watch it every year. I think it's severely underrated. Is I don't know if you guys seen it. It's The Holiday. It's with Jack Black's in it. Cameron Diaz is in it. I'm trying to remember who else. The girl from the Titanic. What's her name?
Oh yeah, this movie. Yep. And she gets together with Jack Black, right? Like Cameron Diaz and Jack Black end up together. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's a very comforting, wholesome, like more adult, I would say, holiday movie. It's
Jude Law. Yeah, he's a goat.
Yeah, I think it's definitely give it a watch. I think it's
I'm pretty sure I've seen this. It's a pretty good movie.
Yeah, I like that one, but if you're talking about like just like any of those classic animation ones from the 70s are really cool too.
Yeah.
Like, I've always been a sucker for those.
Like Frosty the Snowman and like Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Every single one of them are very good. You can't go wrong. Whatever one you watch, like Rudolph, like
Santa Claus is coming to town.
Yeah, like any of those old animation clay style ones, I think are amazing. What else? I would say, if you watch like the classic Grinch Stole Christmas too, that one's like even the one with Jim Carrey, that one's amazing, funny as heck. What else? Okay, another question: is A Nightmare Before Christmas a Christmas movie or Halloween movie?
It's more of a Christmas movie.
Halloween?
What did you say, Zach?
I don't know what Ian said, but I was asking if the movie itself was based around Halloween. Because Jack, whatever his name is like he's a scary whatever.
Jack Skellington.
Jack Skellington.
How could you
I think
not
that was the
remember
whole
his
point,
name?
that he was like kind of pacing in and around Halloween, and that he was the nightmare, and Halloween being before Christmas. At least that's what I understood it to be.
So,
And I
so
have no
you're
idea if that's true.
so you're calling it Halloween, Zach?
I thought so. Isn't it based on like coming out in Halloween?
You know, I think it's just like a tie. And you said Christmas.
Yeah, it's a Christmas movie.
Yeah, it's so hard to tell. Like, I mean, I could definitely watch it during Halloween. I could watch it Christmas time as well. I think tomato tomato at that point. I just think it's a perfect blend of both.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I could agree. It's kind of just a mashup between the two because you have such an abrasive Halloween vibe with it, where he's trying to mash it into Christmas because he found out about it. So it's kind of like it probably would be like a balance.
Yeah.
But since Christmas is such like an intoxicating feeling, like in that sense of like there's only one time to watch Christmas stuff, where it's like Halloween stuff you can watch year round. Everyone loves horror. Doesn't really matter when, or if you're not into horror, that's fine too. But like most people will watch it any time of the year, whereas like Christmas stuff, it's like you only watch it around Christmas time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. No, I know. I understand it. Like, maybe we should just only watch it on Thanksgiving since it's in the middle.
Yeah. There you go.
It's the best Thanksgiving movie of all time, right there.
Yeah, it's right in the middle.
Yeah. Do you guys, since you mentioned a little bit about horror, do you have a go-to horror movie? Like, do you have a favorite horror movie?
Absolutely.
Favorite
For
horror
me, it's
movie.
the entire. I guess it's not even like a real series, but kind of the Conjuring
I
storyline.
knew you were gonna say it. Once you said entire, I'm like, yep, it's gonna be that entire realm.
Because the
I mean,
first one I
it's
saw was The Conjuring. I didn't get to see all the stuff like with
hmm
Annabelle, and then the following sequel or sequels of The Conjuring, up until they came out in post, and then you find out that the storyline is completely mixed. But when The Conjuring first came out, that was when I was like completely terrified in theaters. Especially the scene when the monster was on top of the closet. Every now and again I'll think about that one, and I'm just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Um, but specifically that series, because I think it was the first time in a while that a horror movie like actually set me off like in theaters,
Yeah.
where I was like, waiting for that moment of like a jump scare, is that
Yeah.
classic horror vibe. Like you're not really too scared like throughout the movie. You're not really like feeling some type of way, but The Conjuring made you feel like almost like you were there, like you were a
Yeah.
part of like what was going on with the spookiness of it. And then
Yeah.
yes, of course the jump scare elements existed in it, but the entirety of the movie's atmosphere, had me on edge the whole time.
Yeah.
It was like one of those things where like the goosebumps, coming across your arms were just they existed like the whole time. They didn't go away. It was like, oh my God, I am beyond spooked right now.
Yeah, I agree with what you're saying. Like jump scares are cool and all, but I feel like the best scary movies, in my opinion, are the ones that just make you feel uneasy the whole time, and you leave out the movie theater like, what the hell did I just watch? Like you just felt so uncomfortable, and like
Yes,
like
totally.
just every part you just felt it like in your stomach. You're just like, oh no, this is happening right now. But yeah, I
Yep.
agree. What about you, Ian?
Oh, I got a couple. I'm a big horror buff, but I'm also not a huge movie buff, so stick with me here.
Yeah.
I'm sticking.
I'd say probably top horror movie that I like really enjoyed
Goosebumps.
was also like no, but also like really freaked me out. I will have to say was probably like Midsummer.
Oh, yeah, I was gonna say that one. Yeah, that one's
Yeah.
awesome. Yeah, that one's awesome. Yeah, it's definitely one of my favorites. Yeah, I mean, yeah, just like from start to finish, you're just like, what the hell?
Yeah, it took me on a trip. First experience watching it took me on a goddamn trip. I was like, what's gonna happen next? And like,
Yeah.
it still blew my mind every single time.
Yeah. What was that director's name?
I know it's A24.
Yeah, it's because
Yeah,
I
that's a
love that
film
director,
production, yeah.
Midsummer. Hold on. I'm just
Director Ari Aster.
Yeah. Yep. Ari Aster. Yep. Ari Aster.
Ari Aster. Okay.
Yeah. Very good director.
Yeah, I mean, because I also really liked Hereditary. I
Yeah.
believe
I
it's
was
the
gonna
same
say that one
director.
too.
Yep, those two are like probably one of my
Yep.
favorites from A24. And then I'm gonna take it back in time here to The Shining. I like the length of the.
Dude, I wrote down The Shining, Hereditary, Midsummer. Those are my 3 movies. What the hell?
I only
They're
really
just so
like
well
The
done,
Shining.
dude.
Yeah, The Shining overall an amazing movie. I love the drawn out sequence of the entire thing
Yep.
because it follows the sanity going to insanity. And it's like, I mean, uncut, like if you watch the original version, I think it's like close to like 4 hours long.
Oh my.
Yeah, but they've shortened it now to like about like 3 or so.
Wow.
And because I forget who, maybe it was Dad that was telling me about it, Zach, because he got to see it in movie theaters.
No way.
Yeah. And he said there were scenes in it that they've now recently cut out, like fully. I mean, obviously, if they went down from 4 to 3, you know, there's going to be significant scenes. But he said it was much more disturbing when it first came out than it is now. So imagine
Huh.
that.
Wow. I mean,
Hey, I wonder if it was like a gore element they had to kind of shy away from, or maybe it was like too uneasy. You know, as far as like maybe one too many people puked or something like that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's one of the benchmarks for horror ever. I mean, The Shining is God's here. Jack
I was
Nicholson.
to say, it's
like,
a staple. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, Jack's a really good actor.
I can't believe you said the 3 scary movies I picked. I was like, oh man, these ones are amazing. Yeah, like I'll just capitalize on what you were saying. Like, yeah, Hereditary. When I first watched in the movie theater, I was just like, oh my gosh, I feel so uncomfortable. Like, but I would say like there's parts where I felt like out of body almost. Like at the end when the mom was like banging her head on the ceiling and like mad.
Yeah.
I was just like, what the hell? And then at the end, when he goes up to that tree house and you just see the mom float up, and he just starts walking up. I'm like, no, no. Then he's all those like naked, I don't even know, ghost, devil worshippers at the top. I'm just
Yep.
like, yeah, that one made me feel very uneasy. Midsummer.
He's like, oh boy.
Yeah, Midsummer. I remember first time I ever watched that one. It was pretty funny because I didn't realize like someone put it on and like it was like a group setting, and it was back when I was a little bit younger where I smoked a little bit and got high before that movie. So I'm like kind of when I smoke weed I get kind of anxiety high, and
He was paranoid in the theater.
no, it was at I forget I think it was my place, and like I was pretty smacked, and I remember they put it on. I remember in the first like parts of the movie, like the girl finds out like her whole family just died, and like her scream, Florence Pugh's
Yep.
scream, like haunted me. I'm just like, God, this is awful already.
In
And-
for a ride.
Yeah, it was an insane movie, and I think I got one honorable mention. I don't know if you guys have seen it, but the Blair Witch Project.
Oh no, I haven't seen that one. I heard it's very, very good though.
Yeah, it's like a found footage type horror movie.
Those
It's
ones are always
very good.
creepier, dude.
Yep. I will say this is probably one of the better like found footage type movies. I think there's one other like this is an underrated one, and I think it's called The Last Shift.
No, I haven't seen
And-
that one.
Like I think it's on Netflix. I just want to check because they made one back in like they redid it and made a new one.
The last.
Let's see.
I don't think
Yeah,
I saw
it's-
Blair's Witch Project, but I haven't seen The Last Shift.
Yeah, it's called Last Shift, not The Last Shift, just Last Shift.
Mm-hmm.
And it like follows this like girl who just started, like she just got out of like police academy or something, was following in her father's footsteps. Her first night working at a precinct, it was just her. She was literally the last shift of the night. Like she did the night shift into the morning, and she like they had just like closed down, or were like in the process of closing down like the smaller precinct and moving to a new building or a new location. So it was literally just her in this entire building all night, and like there's backstory to that place, and I'll
Yeah.
leave it at that. but
Okay.
really good horror movie. Some people didn't like it, other people liked it. I thought it was really good for someone who's kind of like big into like actually getting scared. I laugh at a lot of horror movies, so like this one actually had me like on edge and like creeped out for a little bit. Definitely holds you just curious on like what's to happen next. So definitely recommend Last Shift. The 2014, I think they did a remake, and I've heard that was pretty good as well. I don't remember watching that one. So
I was gonna
Okay.
say, besides like the whole like carrying of like the type of horror genre, I know with that the found footage and stuff like that is kind of different than how A24 directs like their movies and like the what happened with The Conjuring. But I think about the ones that also involve like not only like world-ending scenarios, but things that are out of people's control. That is like almost like, wow, I wonder if this ever happened, like what I would do. You know, one of those things where it's like you could see it potentially happening, but it's one of those things that would take like, you know, a quarter percentage of a possibility to ever actually exist.
But
And
I think I know it. I feel like
I
I
mean,
know a movie.
like on one side, yes, I think I know, you know, I think I figure that you're going to say something. But the one that is, you know, akin to like something that would probably never happen, is like Cloverfield. I don't know if you
Oh,
guys saw the movie
Cloverfield.
back in the
Okay,
day.
I was thinking of
yeah,
a different one, but that one's a good one too.
But of course, right next to that one is like the biological warfare movies with I think Brad Pitt is in like the big one. I can't remember what it is, but it's like
World War Z you're talking about?
yeah, like that,
hmm
where like an infection takes over, and it's not so much zombie, but it's more the infection is controlling like people's brain function, and basically is, you know, leading them into this path of they, yes, become equivalent of zombies. But it's not so much a zombie movie as it is like that, you know, thing that happens in the world, you know, similar to like the video game series that Sony made, The Last of Us, you know,
What?
where like the mushrooms take over your mind and you basically
Yeah.
become a zombie puppet.
Did,
So in those things, it's like something that could happen, you know, in and around, but
yeah.
also a little far fetched as far as like a storyline.
But for speaking of apocalyptic movies, have you guys seen what? There's one great thriller on Netflix. I think is super underrated. Leave the World Behind. Have you guys seen that?
I don't think I have. No.
Yeah, watch it. It is awesome. I love the movie so much. Julia Roberts is in it. Ethan Hawke is in it as well.
Hmm.
And it's like something kind of realistic, like what could happen. And I want to like give you the details, but I think the movie, like the experience of watching the movie, you kind of want to find out as you watch. So I highly recommend that one. But it's like something that could happen. I mean, I'm not saying it will happen, but it's something that could happen.
So
So,
is that one similar to like Don't Look Up, like that one that came out at the end of last year? Maybe that was this
yeah,
year. I
but
don't remember.
it's not a natural disaster. It's more of a that I'll just leave it at that.
No,
Like
that's fair. I guess I just wanted to find out if there was like like a close comparison.
yeah, but give it a watch. But I do like Don't Look Up as well. That one's a great one. But this one's a little bit more, I would say, it takes itself a little bit more serious, and the music is very dramatic in it. There's
Love
hold
the
on.
dramatic music. That usually helps the build, especially in horror. Especially in horror.
Yeah, there's another apocalyptic movie that I never seen until a few months ago, and it was probably the one of the best apocalyptic movie I've ever seen. Uh, was it Melancholy? That
Nothing.
one, it's like the girl who played in Spider-Man, Tobey Maguire. What's her name? Looking it up right now.
Like Mary
She,
Jane, like
yeah.
Walken type vibe, or
Yeah. It's the girl who played Mary Jane. What the heck is her name? Oh my gosh. But yeah, definitely watch Melancholy. That one's
it's not Emma.
amazing.
It's not Emma White. I don't know why I said that, but
Yeah,
Kristen Dunst.
how do you
I'm
spell it?
sorry, Kirsten Dunst.
there you go.
Yep. But yeah, if you guys are looking how to spell, I can give you a spelling.
Kirsten.
Melancholia.
Kirsten Dunst.
Yeah.
Melancholia.
Yep.
Yep.
Yeah, watch that one. That one, it's like the first half of the movie is kind of slow, and I really couldn't understand what was happening until the second half of the movie came on. and then it all started to make so much more sense. And that movie, like for just being like it's so cinematic. I mean, it's just basically take on the perspectives of how like two different individuals see how the like the coming end of the world is coming,
Yeah.
and just like how two different individuals feel like you deal with it. And yeah, like honestly, it kind of messed me up in the head watching it because it just felt so real. And you definitely give that a watch. And yeah, the other one on Netflix, I was saying, Leave the World Behind are like two of my current favorites for apocalyptic movies.
So I guess they're more like dramatic and drawn out versus like that horror vibe where you're on edge the whole time. More so.
Yeah, I mean, like the Leave the World Behind, there's a little bit of horror element to it, but yeah, they're very both movies are very dramatic, and you're on your edge. This like you're on the edge of your seat the entire time watching Leave the World Behind, and Melancholy, like you're just feeling the emotional despair and whatnot in the characters, but very great acting. So those are two of my favorites, and it's pretty cool because I found about both those movies in the past like 2 years alone.
I was gonna
Yeah,
say I can't wait to see like what. I mean, not only CGI obviously with its effects and ability to like bring a movie along, but what that looks like as far as directing and how actors and actresses develop is like what they can bring to an emotional
Yeah,
scenescape will look like. Like I mean, obviously we're gonna lose out a lot on a lot of what we know as famous actors and actresses as they get too old for certain roles and stuff like that, or other younger actors and actresses take over their space. It'll be I'll just leave it at interesting, because who knows? Obviously, we know movies and what can exist and how cinematography has evolved. So I'm
yeah,
like excited to see, like, just for an example of what the next 5 years of movies will look like for, well, every genre in general.
yeah. Just take your time on the CGI, and should be fine. But sometimes, when there's a lot of CGI involved in movies, it can look like complete crap if a studio rushes out a project.
Yeah,
oh
a
yeah,
little too much. I think you could definitely tell.
Yeah, 100%. But switching to music, boys. What are some of your favorite songs that came out this year?
You're gonna have to say it's
came
gonna
out
have to be
this year.
a quick wrap because we have a couple minutes here. But the notable music mention definitely a vibe. Quickly.
Man, this year, that's tough. I ain't got much from this year right now. I
I got
listen
my
to a lot of
Spotify.
old. Yeah, I was gonna say I listen to a lot of older music in general.
As far as albums go in general, I don't know if I could land on any like specific songs. I mean, I have probably a good dozen or two, of songs that I'd listened to in like a constant rotation that came out this year. But big time albums that I'm like looking back on was definitely 21 Pilots' latest album. That one was
Mm-hmm.
very good. Um, and then like I'm a big rap fan, so obviously Future and Metro Boomin's album. That one was absolute heat.
Yeah,
Um,
Hmm.
Kendrick's latest album that he just dropped, he did an incredible
yeah.
job with GNX. That was really good.
One one very good album from this year. It was like technically came out late last year, but How Do You Sleep at Night by Teasel Touchdown. That song, I mean,
Tizo.
that album was very, very diverse, and I mean, he's one of the more like newer upcoming artists who's starting to get featured on a lot of albums, like Tyler the Creator's album, uh,
Oh, Tyler
Drake's
the Creator's
album.
album too. Yeah,
Yeah, Drake's album. Um, Travis Scott's album. I mean, a
Travis
lot of
Scott.
people in the music industry want to work with the man, and yeah, he's starting to really blow up. So shout out to him. I'd say the best song that he dropped, like I'd say like this past year, a little over a year, Third Coast. If you haven't listened to it, listen to Third Coast. That one it's a jam.
Okay.
It is a jam.
You say Third Coast?
Yeah, Third Coast.
Word.
Yeah, he covers like all genres between rap, hip hop, yeah, rap, hip hop, R&B, alternative rock. He does like everything, and he does everything very well, and he has a very different sound than any music artists in the industry currently.
Yeah, I was gonna say I haven't listened to a bunch of Tizo, but more so of what you've put me on to, Marquise. No, he's definitely got a range, like you said, from going to rap into like that R&B, soul-y type vibe with like a little bit of pop to him too. A lot of pop to him actually. So
Yeah, yeah. And my guilty pleasure song of the year. This one I feel kind of bad for liking it, but Sabrina Carpenter, Bedchem.
hey,
Uh,
she's got some bumps, dude.
yeah, I know. There's like 3 songs. Hold on, let's see. I'm looking. Yeah. I mean, please, please, please.
Oh, please, please, please is a banger. That's the only
Yeah,
one that
that one's
mentioned to me that I'm
amazing.
like,
Good.
yep, yes.
I
So
see.
Meg listens
I'm
to a
usually
lot
just
of
like a
that like
yeah.
middle-aged poppy stuff. So it's like I've heard a bunch of Gracie Abrams and Sabrina Carpenter and a little bit of Chapel Rowan, and it's just like, oh my goodness.
Ian's just shaking his head right now.
Ian
I'm
thankfully
upset
doesn't
at
have a
you.
woman to play these musical gestures into his
Yeah,
life.
hey, Ian, I said it was a guilty pleasure. It was a guilty. This is not usually my, but yeah, like Good Graces, please, 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 and Bedchem. Expressful, that one's too basic for me, but the other ones are pretty good bumps.
Fair
Yeah,
enough. I'll
Ian,
give you that.
bring us your noteworthy music before we have to close it up here for the boys.
Well, I haven't really. I don't know. I can't pinpoint anything new that has come out this year. Like I said, I listen to a lot of older music in general, and by older I mean like I'm
Diddy,
listening to what?
nothing. I said
Yeah,
Diddy.
yeah, sure. Yeah, we know what you're listening to, Marquise.
Heck yeah.
No, I've been listening to like a lot of like 90s mid 90s rap and like punk and
Yeah,
not like pop punk but like punk.
like New Order type stuff, like
A
Joy
little bit.
Division, Pixies.
I mean, that's kind of like pop punk right there. I mean, they're considered punk, but they're a little bit more, a little bit softer in tone. I'm thinking like No FX,
Okay,
Refused, 9 Pound Hammer,
okay.
Descendants, Authority Zero, Fu Manchu,
Yep,
Misfits,
yep. Talk that shit.
Primus.
Yes.
Primus is a little bit more metal. CKY, The Damned, and then some mid '90s like Jurassic 5, Sarface. What else do I got here? Gangstar.
Been throwing some RHCP in there.
Quasimodo. Red Hot Chili Peppers. They're again like I feel like they're a little more pop punk. They're a little more
Yeah,
mainstream.
yeah.
Nothing against them. I love the Red Hot Chili Peppers, but like they're a little bit softer in tone. Like everyone loves the Red Hot Chili Peppers, and I haven't met. Well, I shouldn't say it. I've met at least one person who doesn't like them, but that's what I've kind of been into as of recently,
Okay.
and like probably favorite song that's been like stuck in my head like as of recently is like What's Golden by the Jurassic 5 and like probably Around the Fur by Deftones.
Okay.
Um
Who do you have Spotify?
I do.
Yeah, who made your Spotify top 5 artists of the year?
Top 5 artists of the year. Let me see. I think it was let's see. Let me just go through it quick.
Yeah, I'm about to see who mine are real quick.
Top artist was Kid Cudi, Blink 182, Sum 41, Cage the Elephant, and Red Hot Chili Peppers.
Hey,
Okay.
I'm
Yep.
a huge fan of Kid Cudi and Blink 182 and Sum
Yeah.
41. Those are
Beast
just
mode.
like
Yeah.
constant rotation. It's kind of just like filter music for me at this point. I've listened to them so much. I know all the lyrics. It's just there.
Yeah.
yeah, this is the good way to close it out. Mark, you want to share your top 5? I'll throw mine.
Yeah.
And then you could bring us
Yeah,
Okay,
let's hear it.
There's one person who made my top 5 who did not deserve to make it, and I think Spotify inflates his numbers. I gotta say this. So, number 1 artist of this year was Teasel Touchdown. Kind of makes sense. Number 2 artist was LCD Sound System. Just seen him in New York City this past weekend. One of the best
Nice.
band. I think it's one of the best bands ever. Number three, I don't know how they made it because I had a playlist they made with yearly rap. My top like 100 songs of this year. Drake is my number three artist. He was not on one song on my 100 songs on my playlist. It made no sense. I listened to him not at all this year, pretty much.
I don't know. That
But
sounds like Cap.
Yeah,
yeah, I know,
that's
right?
suspect as hell.
I don't understand that. I'm kind of pissed about it. Number four is Wallows. The band, like the alternative
Yep.
band Wallows. I really like them. And number
Cool.
five is the rap goat Kanye West. And my
Yo.
top five songs of the year: Take a Picture, and then it was Third Coast, then it was Pictures of Girls, then Dancer, that's like LCD song, and Dancing Circles, which is by Sampa.
Nice.
Classic.
How many minutes you listen?
Honestly, not that much this year because I split it a lot between that and YouTube, so only like 30,000.
All right.
Yeah,
Oh,
like it.
only.
I had years
Yeah,
where
only.
it's been over 50, but like, yeah, when I seen 30,000,
Same.
like, damn. I'm like,
I
I
was to
gotta,
say,
yeah.
mine was low this year. I was at 46,717. I think last year I was like close to like 60 or 70,000.
Jesus.
Yeah, I listen to a lot of music.
Oh, I thought I was well under. I just made fun of Marquise. I'm at 50,000. Good gravy. All right.
Oh, wow.
But most of that was listening while I was mowing grass, to be totally honest.
Yeah,
And then,
exactly.
while I'm driving, delivering stuff, it's all music. But for my artists, to wrap up our dramatized music series here,
Yeah, let's hear it.
Of course, you have to know Trippie Redd is number one. He's my go-to boy, always on the list.
Yes,
Future
sir.
was number two, which makes a lot of
Okay.
sense. Migos
Nice.
somehow got beat out at number three. Bastards.
Hell
Love
yeah.
those boys. R.I.P. Takeoff. I'm so sorry. Gunna at number four. And
Nice.
Drake somehow at number five. But that's probably after all the dogs came out and I bumped that hard.
Well,
But no,
I gotta say,
top
you
song,
have a-
Mama Told Me. Banger. Go listen to it.
okay.
Yeah,
Wait,
I was to say my number one song was "Sheep" by Mount Joy.
Oh, that's a good
Um,
one.
Really good song.
Yeah.
And then I think what was that other one? It's called Oregon, but I can't remember what who
The
was.
band is Oregon?
No, the
Oregon?
song was Oregon.
Well.
And I can't remember.
Wait,
Code of
what?
the Friend, Oregon. Like, highly recommend that song. That song is a vibe in every sense of the word. That was my second. I'll give you just the
I
two.
know. Wait, I think I have a few Code of the Friends songs actually.
Yeah,
I
he
have
got some bangers.
I have Long Beach by him and Throwback Thursday.
Yeah, take a listen to Oregon.
Okay. Yeah, Code
Really
of the Friends
good.
pretty good from the stuff I heard. But
Yeah.
yeah, well, that was a fun show, boys. It was nice ending it off with a yearly wrapped. And hopefully the crowd can hear some of the songs that we
Oh, they're gonna fight. They're gonna fight.
yeah, they're pretty vibey songs, and definitely bump Drake because he made 2 lists the year. Yeah, Drake is a super underrated rapper. He's on the come up, so definitely give him a
He's on the
listen.
come up right now.
Yeah, I have a feeling he's gonna blow up. I have a hunch.
Like that one guy. Shout out Drake. Let's collab.
Hell yeah!
Well, yeah, thank
But
you
here,
so
take
much,
us away.
Marquise.
Yeah, thank
Yeah.
you boys for having me on the show.
We appreciate you coming out. Appreciate you bringing a nice topic to the discussion. I think we had a good time with the top movies and everything. Kind of took it all the way around, and then we made it all the way to music. So I'd say that was a pretty good conversation.
Heck yeah! Well, boys.
But yeah, on that note, let me wrap up the entirety. So thank you guys so much for watching today. We hope you enjoyed our conversation. We hope you enjoyed Marquise. Everyone give him a round of applause, even if you're sitting in the middle of a room. But as always, check us out on YouTube. If you're listening on YouTube or watching on YouTube, check us out on Spotify. And then vice versa. If you're on Spotify, check us out on YouTube. Give us a follow over on Spotify, subscribe over on YouTube. And we'll catch you guys on the Flippy Flop. So until next time, peace.